Ողջույն հարգելի հեռուստադիտողներ, եթերում Hollywood 101 TV show-ն է։ Եվ մեր առաջի ծրագրի առաջի հյուրը հանդիսանում է Շելի Սանհայմը։ Շելի Սանհայմը ներկայանում է CEO-ն CSM Musical World Company։ Եվ նա այսօր մեզ հետ AMGM-ի եթերում է։ Hi.
Hi, Artak.
How are you?
Wonderful to be here.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I just introduced our viewers about you, and I'd like you say, explain our viewers how you helping artists and in their international career.
Sure, my pleasure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's nice to be back home in Los Angeles. We just came from Europe, from the Cannes Festival. Our company is a company that's focused in pop music, and we are really involved in the development of young emerging talents from all around the world. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in this program, I know. But primarily we are songwriter, music producers, and music entrepreneurs that really help to build a young artist career for the international market.
And how are you helping them? So when they're coming to you, how they have to start work with you? And
well, it's a very comprehensive process of development, artistic development. It starts really with the artist's identity, its songwriting and producing, really working on those pop smash hits, which takes a little while. It's collaborating with a lot of writer-producer teams all across the United States and all around the world. We have studios in Los Angeles, Nashville, New York, as well as Berlin, Munich, Switzerland. And so there's a lot of writing and a lot of preparing, vocal production, really training an artist for the singing and the sessions. And then come the sessions, and the sessions are very long, and we do all of the vocal work, all of the vocal background work with other session singers and musicians and talents, then the mixing, and then the production, and then music videos, and then live shows.
And then coming to be a star.
It's a lot of building what I would call the most competitive package, to be able to go to the major labels and the major brands and the major publishers and the major events to demonstrate and compete with the artists who we love, who we see at the Grammys and who we see at the NRJ Awards.
Shall you tell us with how many countries you're working? I know you through wcopa, and I know you more than maybe 10 years. And I know you're always traveling. You just came today from San Francisco. What you did in San Francisco about it?
Well, our company is actually a global company. And as I mentioned, we have studio facilities and colleagues, professional colleagues in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in Atlanta, in Nashville, in New York. I do a lot of work in those territories. For the last 10 years, I've been traveling internationally, going to all of the large music industry events, MEDEM, Popcom in Berlin, the Amsterdam Dance event, and most recently have been involved in Eastern Europe, which is, I think, a fascinating passion that you and I share about Eastern Europe countries and Eastern Europe, the wealth of talent that exists in Eastern Europe. And so did a lot of work in Kazakhstan and also in Russia. And I have a wonderful story of a young duo, boy duo, who I met at World Championship of Performing Arts when they were 13 and 15 from Tbilisi, Republic of Georgia. And they're becoming rising stars. They're building their career in concerts and on television. We just had them in Geneva at Phil Collins' recording studio doing their debut CD. So it's really very exciting.
And by the way, I have to tell something in Armenian. Հարգելի հեռուստադիտողներ, իդեպ ավելացնեմ, որ Շելին հանդիսանում է շատ բազմաթիվ մրցույթների երաժշտական բաժնի խորհրդատու եւ ժյուրի անդամ, նաեւ ինչպես WCOPM World Championships of Performing Arts-ը, որ արդեն ավելի քան 10 տարի ես ներկայացնում եմ մեր հեռուստադիտողին եւ մեր հայրենակիցներին։ Shelley, you can tell us how important being the competition for young artists or just people who trying to build their own career in international show business.
Well, it's my view. I'm the judge and the jury and a music consultant and a panelist and a speaker on select competitions and talent events all throughout the country and all around the world. World Championship of Performing Arts is a very, very unique and prestigious forum for invited-only countries and the very best of their talents to come to Hollywood, to Los Angeles, the most competitive market in the entire world, to develop their careers and to make important connections with industry people such as myself and others. And its founder, Griff O'Neill, has worked tirelessly to really make it one of the premier events of its kind around the world for talents to come and gain training, gain connections, and really get a fast track into building their professional careers. So it's my view that going to the competitions is really important. Winning a competition is fun. Everybody wants to be America's Idol. Everybody wants to be Malaysian Idol. Everybody wants to be, X Factor Idol. But the important thing is really, there's a winner and there's a couple runner-ups, but there's a lot of talent.
There's a lot of talent. At the same time, World Championships coming like Olympic, like sporting Olympics, same thing for
50 countries, 75 countries.
Because nothing for performing artists. And a lot of people, when going to any kind of competition, they're accepting any kind of contract, and next day they want to be superstar. How is it possible? And
I think that it's most important to have a realistic, long-term view of building professional career activities. I mean, if we look at the superstars that we really like, everybody loves Beyonce now. She won so many Grammys. This was a girl who was training with her father and her family. Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
I mean, these are things that the most important thing is to align yourself with professional people who are really a team. It's a professional team, a lawyer, a manager, a songwriter, producer, a production company, a talent event like World Championship of Performing Arts, where you return each year and you foster those relationships. To go to a competition and want to be the winner and want to be a superstar the next day, I think is a little bit ambitious, to say the least.
Yes. Thank you. Հարգելի հյուրատիտողներ, վերադարձանք տաղավար։ Ավել դա արդեն մի փոքր աշխարհի կատարողական արվեստների արժության մասին էր։ Ավելացնեմ նաև, որ Shele-ին հանդիսանում է Shele, better you tell which kind of other organization you're working with?
Well, I'm very proud to be associated with several prestigious organizations. I'm a graduate of the Berklee College of Music in Boston. I've also been invited to be the master producer in residence at Columbia College in Chicago, which is really a neat new program that's going to take place for the next 2 years. There's a wonderful group called International Committee of Artists for Peace. And this is an organization that I've been part of for many, many years, and I've just been put on the advisory board. And it's led by Herbie Hancock and Santana and Wayne Shorter and Patrick Duffy and many very, very spirited and great folks. One of its directors is Kei Yoshikawa, and we have our National Arts Division meeting next month in Miami. And of course, as I've mentioned, the World Championship of Performing Arts, and I've gotten involved a little bit with some of the artists from the Eurovision and from New Wave Stars, which is something that Alex and Igor Kotoy do in Russia. So we were together in Kazakhstan, actually.
And I think your works was in more than 20 countries.
Yes.
A little bit tell about that.
Well, I have quite a lot of songs in television and film, and it's broadcast in over 20, 25 countries around the world, which is really kind of neat. I see my royalty statements, and it's from Austria and Switzerland and Sweden. And, music is an international language. It's something that is really, it's a peacemaker, and it's a friendship builder, and it's something that everybody can connect to. So when I see all of the music that I'm involved with my writer friends, see it all around the world, it makes me feel somewhat of an ambassador of peace and culture.
I'm looking at the phone because so many people calling us now. Our hot lines are going hot.
Look forward to saying
Please, before հարգելի հեռուստադիտողներ, միջև ձեզ զանգերին պատասխանելը, ես մեկ հարց էլ ուղղեմ Shele-ին. Shele, how really you can help artists? Let's say somebody call and contact you. What the process? How you starting work with them, and what their future? What the steps?
Sure. Well, that's a very sincere question, and the truth of the matter is that we have a very selective and very limited direction with young rising artists. I mean, yes,
only
we are
young who's starting, or just anybody?
Well, not necessarily young. When I say young, I'm talking about the pop music market. Okay, so I think it's a little unrealistic for a 60-year-old great singer who's a gospel singer to, be competing with, Mary J. Blige, who's also a more seasoned artist. But when I'm talking about young emerging artists, I'm talking about a range from a young person who would really like the training of to become an artist. From 11, 12, 13, and then going through into late 20s, early 30s. I think that that's a realistic span for an artist to be functioning in pop music.
What if they're already famous in their own countries?
Well, I think that this is part of why we're together today, is that we want to share the message and share the news that in terms of developing an international career, in English-speaking materials as well as in their native tongue. I just came from MIDEM, the largest international music event in the world, in the NRJ Awards, and this is where 15,000 executives come from all around the world, and everybody's looking for the English language song. So, it would be great to develop rising stars that are in Belarus or Moldova or Russia or all of the Eastern Europe countries as well as Europe. We work in South Africa, we work in Sweden, we work in Asia. It would just I would say that the process is really to contact you, contact me through our website, and we go through an audition process and really try to understand the artist's goals and to see if in fact they're the kinds of people that have the realistic ideas that we have at the international level.
Thank you, Shele. Don't have patience. Կարող եք նոր զանգալ, խոստանում եմ այս անգամ կվերցնեմ զանգերը, ուղղակի շատ զբաղված ենք։ Իսկ եթե ունեք ցանկություն ավելի մանրամասն իմանալու Շելեի մասին, վեբսայթը, հեռախոսի համարը, բոլոր ինֆորմացիաները այնտեղ են, դուք կարող եք ինքներդ կապնվել, ավելի մանրամասն ինֆորմացիա ունենալ Շելեի գործերի մասին։ Shele, before we get another calls, I want you to tell me about your last project you done.
Well, one of the things is I think I mentioned a little bit earlier in the program, we're very, very proud of the Too Cool boy duo from Tbilisi, Republic of Georgia. They are such shining stars. They play instruments, one known as I and T, and one's a drummer, one's a keyboard player.
They're brothers.
They're brothers, and they've been singing probably since they started at the very first dinner together. And we just came from Geneva and took them to Phil Collins' studio, Dynamic, and recorded their debut CD. We've been representing them at PopCom in Berlin and at MIDEM in the south of France. They're on television now, they're on radio now, and they're really building their rising star. I mentioned Phil Collins. I had the fortunate opportunity to be involved in his Little Dreams band project, and I wrote the song Donnez-le-moi, which was their smash single. And Swatch Watch came and did a Swatch Watch special, Phil Collins Little Dreams band, Swatch Watch Premium. We do a lot of music branding with clothes, with watch companies. And so some of the most current things that we're really very proud of is Too Cool, and of course the Phil Collins project, and of course our continued music branding and our music on television and film. There's just a lot of opportunities, and we're happy about that.
I have one question for you, but after this call. Hello, to get Terumek?
Yes, hi. I would like to ask about the gentleman's opinion about the music industry in general. How do you envision, because it's been changing, the mega stores, the CD selling stores are closing, and artists do not sell their music anymore the way, the conventional way, the way they used to do. Now, how do you foresee what's going to happen with the industry? How is the artist going to make money for his talent?
Thank you for the question.
And thank you for that question. That's very insightful. Having just come from MIDEM in the south of France, our 10th year participation, the whole topic of the conference was exactly what you just asked about. And I feel very, very encouraged and very optimistic about the future of the music business. I think, as you had mentioned so correctly, the record business has exploded. That's over with. The way it used to be done is just not a model that makes sense for anybody. So I believe that today's artist is a very independent artist. There's somebody that has their MySpace, that has their YouTube, that lines themselves with brands. I think this is a very big, big market for a young or an independent artist to concentrate on. And you'll see all kinds of superstars like Pharrell with Versace, or some of the liquor companies lining up with some of the electronica DJs. But they're looking brands who have marketing dollars and who have media access are looking for young talents, for independent artists to really attach their artist identity with that jeans or those tennis shoes or that particular event. So I think that is a tremendous way for an artist to earn income by being sponsored by brands and by using the brand's media strength to strengthen their name. I always think that a live show, having a live show and having concerts is a way for an artist to make their money. And I think that the most important thing is for that artist to build their fan base. Fans are clients, or they are people who are going to buy their songs, they're going to buy their merchandise, they're going to buy the products that they're associated with. And I think that the smart artist of today and the smart music entrepreneur, writer, producer, agent, manager, it's a 360 deal. So you really want to have all the components in place. Your online, your live, your branding, and of course, you need great songs.
And Shele, if some artists like to come visit to United States and work with you, how are you working? They have the visa problem. Let's say somebody from France, they're easy for visa. Somebody from East European countries, and they're really talented people. They have a great voice. And you accept for work. I know you're not working with everybody, but if you like them, how are you working? If they cannot get a visa, come to United States. How are you working? You taking them Germany? I think you have so many, 2-3 different studio in
That's
Europe.
exactly right. We've really addressed this problem and we've solved it. For the clients and the artists that we accept as clients and candidates, we decide that we will do our work. I travel a lot to the artists because I can certainly move about the world, no problem. But we do sessions in the countries that they can travel to. The Schengen visa allows for 13 European countries. We have facilities in Belgium, in Sweden, as I mentioned, in Germany, and Switzerland. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy to set up the sessions outside of the United States. And in fact, I've been out of the U.S. doing Eastern Europe artist sessions for the last 3 years, probably 7 times, 8 times a year. So there's no problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Shele.
Շնորհակալություն
հերթադիտողներ, մեր ժամանակը մոտենում է ավարտին. This time going to out, we not unlimited.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for again accepting my invitation. Հարգելի հերթադիտողներ, էկրանների վրա, պաստարի վրա դուք տեսնում եք վեբսայթը, հեռախոսի համարը, եթե ունեք ցանկություն սկսելու ձեր միջազգային կարիերան կամ ունեք անձնական հարցեր, ինչպես կարիերայի հետ կապված music industry, կարող եք կապնվել վեբսայթով Shele Sanheim-ի հետ եւ կարծում եմ, որ ձեր բոլոր հարցերի պատասխանը կամ օգնությունը կստանաք։ Ավելի լավ կլինի գրեք այդ համարները, այդ բիզնեսի մեջ Shele-ին շատ օգտակար կլինի ձեզ։ Շնորհակալություն։ You can say bye.
Thank you very much for having me today, Artak. We've been friends for quite a few years through the championship, and I hope that as young artists or emerging artists or rising stars that are all around the world might be watching this, that will have a chance to learn about you and encourage you in your professional career aspirations.
Շնորհակալություն, ստեսուն ձեզ։